It probably doesn't come as a surprise that creativity is more difficult when you're not out living life, when there is nothing outside of your painfully familiar surroundings that can stimulate your mind. Over the past 2 weeks, my health has shown signs of improvement. Enough improvement for me to feel confident enough to test how well my body can handle driving. Over those 2 weeks, I planned a potential trip to Sausalito, but changed my mind last minute when something about a different nearby Bay Area town came across one of my social media feeds. A couple of things about this drive. I did feel funny for the first 20 to 30 minutes of driving, but not enough for me to contemplate giving up and not seeing where this day would go. Also, I should pay closer attention to the app when I'm renting a car because I had no idea this was an EV when I rented it. I scanned the dashboard several times looking for the gas like an idiot before realizing what that little plug icon with the mileage next to it represents. When I arrived in Pacifica, I had no plans. I considered just driving around the beach area and maybe checking it out if I was lucky enough to find free parking close by, which I did. As I sat there observing and absorbing the sunny weekend Bay Area beach atmosphere around me, I felt a sense of optimism I hadn't felt in a while. That whatever probably neck injury that caused my likely neurological symptoms that kept me balled and chained inside of my apartment for the past 8 months might actually be healing. Sure, it was a short walk from the car to the beach, but my body didn't fail me yet. Of course, I could always push my luck one step at a time. Are these ravens or crows? I assume ravens, but either way, they're captivating. I can't tell because the differences between the two species are subtle, and to further complicate things, they seem to generally hang out in the same locations. One of my toxic traits is believing I can keep one of them as a pet. I didn't hang around the Pacifica beaches for long because I tend to quickly get bored of wherever I'm at. So I headed towards Half Moon Bay because I had never been there before, and I have this rental car until 9 p.m. Ah, that's the thing that appeared on my social media feed. Pacifica's famous Taco Bell Cantina, which is just a regular Taco Bell that also serves alcohol. I was too impatient to wait to get a better view, so I hopped back onto Highway 1. When I saw the Half Moon Bay city limit sign, I didn't feel like fighting for beach parking, so I figured I would kill time by either exploring the city on wheels or just finding a park to hang at. This is neither a park, nor is this Half Moon Bay. This is Half Moon Bay's peaceful-looking sibling city to the north called El Granada, which admittedly I know nothing about, and neither do you. But I have a camera and discretionary time, and I have a goal of testing my limits to see if the positive signs my body showed me on the beach in Pacifica are real indicators that I might be healing. Even though I'm not quite yet at the point in life where I'm ready to move out of the city and all of its immediate resources, there is a necessary tranquility provided by surrounding bedroom communities that major cities mostly just can't. I suppose this makes me understand why many people I went to high school with just never left my hometown of Vacaville, which is strikingly similar to this town, but without a beach. If you're wondering where I'm walking towards, I saw a nearby trail on Google Maps that's at the edge of Quarry Park, a recreational area that seems to be popular with people who have kids. The past month, I've diligently achieved 10,000 plus steps almost daily and almost entirely on my treadmill. When I got to the trailhead, I thought, Wouldn't it be bold of me to test my health progression by trying to get 10,000 steps in, all without a treadmill? One of the reasons I need to hike solo is because I want to take pictures of everything. Hiking is one of the few settings where I can develop acute interests in the seemingly most mundane things. Basic trees and flowers, exotic trees and flowers, bees. There's something about the absence of commercial and industrial stimuli that being on a trail out in nature provides that make those things so much more interesting. I suppose that's why when you need to be creative or you need to think critically about something, the most effective way to do that is by making yourself bored, which enables your mind to naturally expand mentally to fill in the gaps that would normally be occupied by whatever cheap and quick sources of dopamine we typically rely upon to save us from the uncomfortable state of boredom. I have no more immediate thoughts, so enjoy the sights and sounds with me until the cow scene. This view of cows grazing a field of grass is one of the most California scenes a person can witness. There are woods on the left, cows in the background, and an ocean backdrop. If there's one regret I have from this hike, other than apparently walking the vast majority of it with my backpack wide open without a single passerby telling me, it's that I didn't get footage of the tiny snake I nearly stepped on as it darted across the trail. If you're wondering what I was thinking about while sitting on the bench, it was that this sunscreen in my eyes really hurts, and there's no effective way to get it out. No, seriously, this sunscreen in my eyes would go on to bother me the rest of the day. But I wasn't mad. In fact, I was happy about the fact that I was nearing the end of a roughly 90-minute hike when just a few weeks prior I could barely walk for more than 3 to 5 minutes without nausea. Around August and September, when these strange symptoms began developing, recall that I visited Bodega Bay and Sonoma. That trip was supposed to be the first of a possible ongoing series of weekend getaways where I'd explore Bay Area cities outside of San Francisco, especially ones I've never been to. Not that this video is a delayed continuation of that series, but this recent health upswing makes me cautiously optimistic that I may one day not be limited to whatever creativity I can generate inside of my tiny apartment. I say cautiously optimistic because there are still some health kinks to work out. For starters, I did attempt a midday walk through my San Francisco neighborhood the day after this trip and felt symptoms about 8.5 minutes in. But that's still an improvement, which means that the only hurdle is figuring out how I somehow made a breakthrough the day of this trip to Pacifica and El Granada. So the trend seems to be in the right direction, even if getting close to returning to my old self will take time.